And we are live. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Tech Chariot, and today we have another set from the King of Ireland Tournament Silver Division. This is round 2. The next round is the quarterfinals, and we have Juicy45 versus sweetcoman. In terms of seeding and ranking, these players are between 1250 and 1400-ish, I would say. We're looking at Juicy. His calculated tournament ELO was 1366, and for sweetcoman, he is here at 1284, so around 100 ELO difference between these two. So it will be an uphill battle for sweetcoman, but we'll see what he can do. So in terms of Civ draft, first of all, for the brackets, Juicy45 and sweetcoman, the winner of this set will go up against Plush Werewolf of our very own Viridark's clan. So let's take a look here. So Juicy45 picking the Bohemians, Malians, Aztecs, Lithuanians, Saracens, Poles, Sicilians, and Huns. I like this draft. Lots of great monk options among these civs. I'm sure that's not why he picked these civs, but I still like. However, sweetcoman with the Celts, Mayans, Ethiopians, Franks, Indians, Incas, Byzantines, and Burgundians. Oops. So it'd be interesting to see what these players come up with. Okay, here we go. So we are on Irish Arabia, the game 1 of every set. Let us unpause and let's see what we got here. So in terms of maps and bases, well, these players do look a little bit closer than usual. Let's see, we've got sweetcoman in the upper right playing as the purple Ethiopians, and in the lower left we have Juicy45 playing as the blue Huns. Juicy45 is a friend of mine. I've known Juicy for a while. He is a streamer, great guy. He saved my stream one time. I had this really boring, awkward, painful stream, and I was like 4.5 hours into it, and I was about to quit because nobody was there. When out of the blue, here comes Juicy45 with a 5-viewer raid, and absolutely made my night. Picked up like 3 or 4 followers. It was really great. So he's a super nice guy. That is how I met Juicy45. He will raid randos and give them a chance, get to know them. And I really respect that. He's got a good Discord with a nice community. I don't know much about sweetcoman. I don't even know where sweetcoman is from. Juicy45 is from Ohio, as far as I know, so he is from the USA. Sweetcoman, I am not sure about. And I don't want to guess, because somebody in chat is going to correct me. So sweetcoman is, all I know about him is that he is the underdog for this set. So we'll see what sweetcoman comes up with. These are unique maps, so maybe sweetcoman can pull something off here. So sweetcoman is the Ethiopians. He's got 6 on food. Let's talk about his map. He's got, oh, look at this gold right here. Could you imagine if he built like a couple houses here in a palisade and Juicy built a tower right here? Could deny sweetcoman's golds, all of them, all the golds inside of his base. He'd have to come out here to try to take this gold. So you do start with a ring of trees. This is Irish Arabia. Your ring of trees are thinner than most wood lines, but there are more of them, so it's generally easier to wall. So scouts are nerfed, but archers are more powerful because they can range every wood line inside of this base. So people can get sort of lulled into this false sense of security. They think, oh, all I have to do is wall myself into this circle and I'm going to be fine. But that might work in Feudal Age if your opponent doesn't commit. But in Castle Age, all bets are off. Sweetcoman bringing in his boar here. So Juicy45, let's talk about Juicy's map. Juicy's actually got forward berries, but his gold is over toward the side. And his golden stone secondary over here. And he's got a safe stone here. He has not found all of his sheep yet, though, for Juicy. The deer are inside this ring of trees. The boar are inside the ring of trees. And you can and should push in all your deer, and that is exactly what Juicy45 has done. The deer are much closer. Juicy will find these sheep, and he'll be able to bring those in. So sweetcoman has not pushed in his sheep yet. He is kind of, or his deer, he's kind of scouting around. We've got 4 on wood now. So it'll be interesting to see what sweetcoman does. If he goes for a standard build, or if he tries to go for some lightning drush build or something like that. A standard drush, I think, is too slow on this map. We've seen people kind of try it and not be able to get in. the most we've ever seen, or I don't want to say most, but you can probably get away with a 2 militia drush. 3 is kind of pushing it. We've seen some players in the Platinum division do 2 militia drushes, and of course we saw both Backed and ACCM do 2 militia drushes. One of them got in and the other didn't, and the one that got in actually was the one that ended up winning. And that was because of a hole in the wall. So it can happen. You can get in. You can have some Dark Age action, but there's generally not as much on this map. Got to leave room for all of this Celtic knot artwork and EIRE branding. I would say air as an English speaker, but apparently they say ere. Hello again, John CZ3. Yes, we are back. Juicy already putting down a barracks. We are at 19 pop for Juicy. And he's got one more villager in queue. Is he going to click up after this? Juicy, do something. Your town center's idle. Juicy accumulating town center idle time. sweetcoman with only 5 seconds of idle time here. What is Juicy doing? Juicy, click up. Click up, Juicy. Oh, this is a catastrophe. Juicy racking up the idle time here is probably about 40 seconds at least late. Maybe even a minute late to the feudal age because of that idle time. Disaster. sweetcoman has been doing a pretty good job of keeping his town center active. Juicy on the prowl here, looking at sweetcoman's villagers, looking for one to pick off, but won't be able to find one. sweetcoman is putting up a barracks of his own. So Juicy going up on 20 pops, so we might see 20 pop scouts from Juicy. He has not walled his map. sweetcoman is being very diligent about trying to wall this circle. So sweetcoman has clicked up at 22 pop. He has 2 on gold. So this is telling me, and now he's added a 3rd, so this is telling me man-at-arms into archers for sweetcoman. sweetcoman says, poor little scout. He didn't even have a chance. What is he talking about, though? He's talking about this scout right here, the one that is getting eaten alive by these ferns, or eaten dead, I should say. So the good news is sweetcoman knows exactly where Juicy45's town center is. The bad news is that I think that's just about all that sweetcoman knows. Yeah, that's all sweetcoman knows. So he knows where Juicy's TC is, and that's it. Scout couldn't find anything. So we have a stable coming up for Juicy45, so indeed the plan is scouts. sweetcoman is going to be feudal age right behind him, though, and an archery range coming up. And we have some spears coming out for sweetcoman, so no, I lied. It's straight archers for sweetcoman, no man-at-arms. Man-at-arms could actually be effective, though, because Juicy hasn't walled. Juicy has built no walls and is not intending to wall. So maybe Juicy feeling pretty good about the about 100 to 130 elo advantage that he has over sweetcoman. Juicy Scout is camping this palisade just to harass a villager that might come and try to wall this up. Juicy is ultimately going to want to keep an eye on this, make sure it doesn't get closed so that his scouts can get in. And sweetcoman needs to send a spearman up here to chase this scout away. Juicy is heading across the map with another scout to try to make sure that sweetcoman is not able to wall this off. Juicy, oh man, that is so close. Juicy not quite getting in. If Juicy had stayed on the hill, maybe he could have had a chance of picking off this 3 HP villager, and now sweetcoman is going to finish that wall. So Juicy not quite fast enough. And the irony is that had Juicy not had that roughly 45 seconds of town center idle time, he would have gotten in here. And this villager would have been toast. Poor Juicy, though, forgot to click up. So Juicy, he's got one more scout in queue. I don't know if he's going to keep making scouts. He is here trying to get in. The archers are taking damage on the scouts. So the good news for Juicy is that Scout's eco is really good. And he still has military on the field. He has a presence. He knows what his opponent's up to. So if he can keep his opponent in his base, he won't need to wall. And indeed, walling does cost investment and resources. So I'd like to see an archery range come down for Juicy to help him deal with spearmen. If sweetcoman pushes out with, oh, interesting, Juicy's got a spearman here, but surely he must know that this has been walled off now. If sweetcoman comes forward with like 5 archers with fletching and a spearman, there's not much Juicy can do. So right now, sweetcoman has a resource advantage. He's putting up a stable so that he can get fletching. Super smart, a great idea. Fletching increases the... Is sweetcoman going to let Juicy in? No, sweetcoman has locked the gate so that his own units can't let Juicy's units in. John CZ3 says, not nice to see them mess up and suffer for it, but I mean really valuable to a viewer like myself of why it's so important. Yeah, JC, when we say that TC idle time is no joke, like that TC idle time is evil, this is why TC idle time is evil, because had Juicy not had that town center idle time, his scout would have been here to deny this wall off, and then he would have poured in with early scouts. So he did all the right things, too. He had his scout keeping an eye on this. He was picking at villagers. He killed one. He almost killed another. He just had that idle time from the town center that meant that he couldn't quite do what he wanted to do. So Juicy's scouts are on the prowl. He's got 6 scouts total. I don't think Juicy's going to make any more than that. Now, a lot of people don't realize that these bushes are actually lameable, as Juicy has found a hole and is in. It would have been over, perhaps, but sweetcoman has had the time to build up his military, and Juicy can fight a spearman 3v1. It's not ideal, and he's just taking too much damage on these scouts, and all of a sudden Juicy's only left with 2 scouts remaining. Sweetcoman is now going to throw down some foundations. He says, never again. I'm not letting Juicy in. Did Juicy get anything from that? He did not get any Eco KD from that, unfortunately, for Juicy. Juicy is getting Wheelbarrow, though. Sweetcoman is going to get it slightly ahead of him. And sweetcoman is looking like he's going to have the res to click up pretty soon. He hasn't spent the same amount of food on scouts that Juicy has. So Juicy has built a market. So Juicy is already on his way to the Castle Age, though. Sweetcoman is going to be a little bit behind. It makes sense. You can generally get Castle Age faster if you're going scouts. Scouts eco is just so good. We're going to have, okay, a range coming up for Juicy. So Juicy's plan is... Oh, what do we got here? No, she's going to fight him off. He's too low health. So Juicy being a pest over here. Maybe if Juicy's careful and has good APM, he can push these deer under sweetcoman's town center. But that doesn't seem likely. So Juicy's going to just look for a low HP farming bill with this scout. Is he going to find it? There's one right here. So we'll see if Juicy can find it here. Oh, no, Juicy, don't settle for that one. Alright. So, Cav Archers is the plan for Juicy. I don't know that I agree with that. If you're up against Ethiopians, then you know that they're going to be making archers, and their archers are going to be better than your Cav Archers. Sweetcoman, though, pushing out across the map. This map is so easy to wall, and Juicy's had all the time in the world. But I don't know that he's going to be able to get away with this. Juicy's going to need a couple knights. Juicy is going to need a couple knights as soon as he hits Castle Age. And she is going to go down if Juicy's not careful. He needs to bring her back to the town center. Okay, she hops in. Juicy's been taken off of gold. Town center is going to fire at these archers. But maybe the reason Juicy is going... Did he send the same one out there? Oh, come on, Juicy. Don't do that. At least send a full HP one out here to try to finish that. So Sweetcoman is going to camp this. Juicy should queue knights immediately to deal with that. I don't see them, though. No, he's queuing Cav Archers. Juicy wants Cav Archers. He's going to go Cav Archers. That's what he wants. I disagree with that. I think a couple knights here would be invaluable. Clean this up, and then you can take your gold. But Juicy wants Cav Archers. So I don't think Cav Archers do well against archers, personally, but I've never had much luck with them. So the reason I think that Juicy is going Cav Archers is because Ethiopians get pikemen for free, and Juicy doesn't want Sweetcoman to be able to take advantage of that power spike. See how Sweetcoman immediately has pikemen upon hitting Castle Age? These were spearmen, but they were instantly upgraded to pikemen for free. So now Sweetcoman is going to get crossbowman, thumbring. He should get bodkin first. That is the more important technology than thumbring. But Ethiopian archers do fire faster. And Juicy been taken off of this range. Juicy's going to have to find an alternate source of gold. Let's see what Juicy knows about the map. Does Juicy know where gold is? No. Juicy is just walking out looking for gold. There is stone here. Actually, Juicy does know about this gold here. He does know about this. So that's what Juicy's looking for. He's got his villagers going out. He knows that these archers are going to come around this way. So he's pulling his villagers back. And indeed, he sees these crossbowmen coming this way, but For all other things being equal, crossbowmen will just shred cav archers. Cav archers do have twice the health, and more attack, but crossbowmen fire faster, and they have more range, and they're easier to mass. So Juicy going to try to come back here and take this gold, but sweetcoman is not going to allow it. And Juicy knows that he's got to bail. sweetcoman not getting any villager kills, though, because he does not have ballistics yet. So where did Juicy's villagers go? So Juicy's just going to take wood out here instead. Juicy could probably at least sell some wood to get gold for now, but he has not done so. I would argue Thumbring is more important, but I'm also a low elo legend. Or a low elo laughingstock. No, Bodkin is much more important than Thumbring. You need that range and you need that attack. It's more important than firing faster. Maybe sweetcoman knows something about it. Like maybe sweetcoman says, yes, that's true, but in the case of the Ethiopians, da-da-da-da-da. And I'll say, oh, okay. But I don't think that that is the case. I think sweetcoman just got it because he had the resources for it. Juicy putting down a siege workshop. I think this is the right call. A lot of idle time for Juicy, though. Look at all this idle time from all of his villagers. So he's got to get back in this town center to keep sweetcoman's archers away. And Juicy should be able to make a mangonel now. This is what he needs. What do we got over here? Alright, we've got a raid from Juicy45 on sweetcoman's villagers here, mining gold, but sweetcoman I don't think is too worried about it. He's just going to leave his archers here and probably make more to deal with that. Doesn't need that many. His Juicy's cav archers are here. They're attacking a house. And Juicy is now on this gold. Okay, because sweetcoman is not there. We have a pikeman raid coming. Now, cav archers, of course, take bonus damage from pikemen. It's plus 22, if I remember correctly. But that's assuming that they can catch them. And Juicy paying for the decision not to... Oh. sweetcoman get a micro against this mangonel and get close. Okay, Juicy does manage to deal a lot of damage to these crossbowmen with the mangonel, but it could have been better. Some villagers going down for Juicy. He's lost 2 so far. But I think Juicy paying for the decision not to wall in 2 villagers. So take that as it were. So now Juicy can finally finish this archery range like he wants to. So he can have 3 range cav archer production. Did Juicy just miss these pikes? Yeah, he doesn't know that they're there. He does have a pike raid here, and the villagers are fighting it off. This pikeman is going to kill this lady, though. Nope, okay, changes attack. She lives. So what do we got over here? We got both players have sent out just a lumber camp for their opponent to not find. This is just a safe lumber camp on opposite sides of the map. That's pretty funny. What about the 100% accuracy that comes with thumb rings as well? 100% accuracy doesn't do you much good if your opponent kites your units because they outrange you. So Juicy getting the cavalry archer armor now. I disagree with this. I think that Bodkin is more important for these cav archers. Maybe he thinks he already has it, or maybe he couldn't afford it, wanted to sneak in the archer armor. Either way, though, I really like this TC from Juicy. This will help secure this gold here, which has been a huge problem for him. It's going to come up just in time. Juicy, see the pikeman? Hop in the TC. Okay, he sees it now. And these pikemen will not do well against Town Center arrow fire. So Juicy at 3 range cavalry archers, 2 town centers. Come over here to help clean this up so that he can start taking gold immediately. And what do we got here? Cav archers being chased away by skirmishers from the Ethiopians. JC says, I don't see a clear way for Juicy to get back into this. Do not underestimate the Juicy45. We have a castle coming up for sweetcoman. It is true, though. Sweetcoman has done a very good job keeping the pressure on Juicy. He's got 64 villagers to Juicy's 39. So Juicy is behind, there's no doubt about it. But Juicy also wanted to go for something a little bit more expensive. He saw the skirmishers, so now he has some knights. And Hunnick stables work faster, so he can get knights out faster, too. So we'll see if Juicy's knights can get in here and get some kills. Sweetcoman sneaking up another town center over here. Is Juicy going to find that? Don't tell me Juicy finds that and denies it. Now, it looks like Juicy is just here camping the relic. So we've got a big battle here. Cav archers versus skirmishers versus crossbowmen versus pikemen. And Juicy is going to clean that. Hunted cav archers are no joke. They get all the upgrades, but the nice thing about them is that they're so cheap. You can mass them. You can make lots of them. Huns are to cav archers what Byzantines are to camels. Except with all the upgrades. So Juicy's knights go down. He doesn't feel comfortable engaging that anymore, so Juicy's going to go look for some damage. But all Sweetcoman's eco is over here. But Sweetcoman has built a castle to keep that eco safe. He has some Shotel warriors. I'm not sure what Sweetcoman's plan is with these Shotels. Why do people keep building Shotels and me not understanding what they're for? Seems like that's a recurring theme in this King of Ireland tournament. So can Juicy's raids get him ahead of Sweetcoman? Juicy absolutely loves the Huns. You don't have to build houses. Juicy loves mobility. These cav archers are going down to skirmisher javelins, though. And over here, Juicy trying to make something happen, but Sweetcoman has the defenses. Pushes him back. So Juicy is going to add another stable. And Juicy just now getting Bodkin. That hurts. I'm not sure it's over, but I don't know exactly what he could do. So here's the thing. If Sweetcoman goes infantry plus siege, Juicy is toast. So Juicy is putting up a castle here to defend himself from raiding, give him a little bit more vision about things that are coming in. Huns have no answer to Pike Siege, but Huns are masters of mobility. They're very good at being everywhere. They had a lot of powerful and cheap mounted units, and this map is wide open. So in order for Sweetcoman to go Pike Siege or to go Infantry Siege, he has to control where the fights are on the map, either by dropping like a forward castle on Juicy and pressuring him directly, or by walling off the map so that Juicy can't raid him. If he can do that, Juicy will not have any answer because Huns have terrible infantry, and infantry are truly the only cost-effective counter to a Pike Siege push, like champions. If Sweetcoman goes archers, Juicy can go knights. If Sweetcoman goes cavalry, Juicy could go cavalry archers himself and kill his camels. So Juicy45 has an answer for everything Sweetcoman could do except Pike Siege. But I think Juicy doesn't have any... Oh, wait, what is this? Tarkans? Tarkans. What is with the Tarkans? Juicy getting the second armor for cavalry now. Juicy is at 59 villagers to Sweetcoman's 81. So Juicy may not have a specific unit composition in mind. He may just be of the mindset, I'm going to make units that Huns are good at and powerful at, and I'm going to use those units to raid my opponent and weaken him so that I can be ahead. So it doesn't matter whether or not my opponent is making the proper counters to my army. I will outnumber him and out-tech him by so much that I'll win anyway. That could be Juicy's philosophy. Ethiopians don't get redemption. Nope. They are classified under Tech Chariot's list of highly overrated civs because they do not get redemption. So Juicy putting down a monastery. Huns are not known for their monks, but Juicy has vision. He knows where some of the relics are. He knows where 2 relics are, at least. 3, actually. So Juicy can go and get those relics, and it's like a free villager on gold. So Sweetcoman has 2 castles up. He's got 45 military. And he may not realize it, but he could actually start pushing out across the map. Sweetcoman building a very large and useless palisade wall here. I think stone walls are actually a lot more valuable on this map than palisade walls. Juicy could kill this palisade wall. Let's see. So this palisade wall has 250 health and 5 pierce armor. You ready? So Juicy's cav archers have 8 attack. So 8 attack versus 5 pierce armor. Each cav archer does 3 damage per shot to this palisade wall. 250 divided by 3 is, what, 80-ish something? So that means that 80 arrows, approximately, 83 arrows will destroy this palisade wall. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, considering that each cav archer, well, if he could have like 20 cav archers, that's 4 volleys right there. Think about that. Highly overrated due to terrible monks. Agreed. What is this over here, though? We have a castle drop from sweetcoman. Knows how to throw the game. Look at that. Wants to drop a castle on Juicy's gold. A sneaky castle. He had a lumber camp here. I'm glad I spotted this. This is going to be fun. And this castle going up, does Juicy see it? No one would ever suspect this either. But if this goes up, Juicy will be in trouble. Juicy might even be able to garrison his town center and shoot at these villagers, but Juicy too preoccupied. Where is he? He's got a massive army here. And I think this castle is going to go up. Juicy doesn't see it. sweetcoman keeping Juicy occupied with his army over here. And this army is just a distraction, throwaway army, to let this castle go up. And Juicy's villagers are going down. Juicy boomed up to 80 villagers or so, and this castle has already killed like 3, 4. So Juicy has to abandon this gold now. This monastery is almost not even safe. Juicy did clean up that trash army, but it did its job, which was to allow sweetcoman to get this castle up. Juicy is on his way to imp, though. sweetcoman is at 100 pop and is 100 villagers and is not on his way to imp. So sweetcoman going into the cavalry. I disagree with this, but I do understand why. This is a very open map. So maybe he feels like he needs light cav out here to tank some arrow fire. sweetcoman is going to take Juicy's gold. However, Juicy knows he's going to be imp soon. He's going to make trebs. He's going to treb down sweetcoman's castle. So I don't know how long this castle is going to last, and that may be the reason why Juicy hasn't sent anything back here. Was this castle worth it? Well, it was 650 stone investment in killing maybe 3 or 4 of Juicy's villagers. So probably not. But what do I know? So sweetcoman, Juicy's been doing a better job spending his res. sweetcoman has over 2k wood in the bank. And here he comes with some showtells now. So these showtells are here to snipe town centers, to snipe other buildings. They have 45 hit points. The castle is firing away. And they are here to kill villagers too. I bet Juicy doesn't have murder holes. So showtells have a ton of attack. Juicy sending his military back to deal with this. The showtells are going to melt to cav archer fire. So I wonder if these showtells are just here to snipe trebuchets now. Monk goes down. No, okay, he's going to snipe the monastery that has 3 relics in it. That's pretty annoying. Juicy wants to wall this off. Come on, Juicy, quick wall. There you go. Juicy, quick wall. Alright, he got it. So the trebuchet is safe, and Juicy is going to start trebbing down this castle. Trebuchet is coming from both directions. But this monastery does go down, which is unfortunate for Juicy. He needed that gold and those relics. So if I'm sweetcoman, I start evacuating these villagers immediately. You know this castle is going down. Get out of here. But sweetcoman is also boomed up to 113 villagers. So maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he's like, as soon as these villagers die, I'll be exactly at half the max pop of villagers. Juicy has gotten heavy cavalry archer at this point, and Juicy needs to make something happen really soon. Because sweetcoman is on his way to imp with a lot more resources, so Juicy needs to take advantage of this technology boost that he has. But this castle is keeping Juicy distracted. So he's going to take that down. Okay, now Juicy can move his trebuchets forward. sweetcoman putting up a castle of his own on this gold. This has been a pretty good game so far, I've got to say. So Huns do not get onagers, so Juicy will not be able to upgrade this to deal with masses of archers. To deal with masses of archers, Juicy is going to need skirmishers. I really do think that Skirmisher and Cavalier Paladin is the play here from Juicy. I don't think Cav Archers make sense against the Ethiopians. I understand why he picked them, but I don't know that I agree with that unit composition. I think sweetcoman is just going to start massing Arbalisters, and Juicy's not going to be able to answer it with Cavalry Archers. Okay, Juicy is in, though. Looking for some damage, looking for some fights. There are a lot of pikemen here. There are Tarkans absorbing crossbow arrow fire. I don't know if he has the Cav Archers to pick off these pikemen, though. Does Juicy have Parthian tactics? So we have camels. Interesting. Camels coming in for sweetcoman. So sweetcoman wants to do camels. He wants to do camels and arbalisters. Juicy looks like he wants to siege this castle, but these Cav Archers are not in the position to do so. Juicy needs to get Parthian tactics, which will give his archers more pierce armor. He has not done so, but he is doing so now. And these Tarkans are fighting the pikes. They are absorbing the Arbalister arrow fire, and Juicy getting out of here. We see lots of ranges coming down now for sweetcoman. So Juicy taking into light cav, so Juicy going to go Hussar to deal with all of that. Makes sense. So Juicy getting pushed back now. If sweetcoman is smart, he'll follow Juicy all the way back to the castle, do as much damage as he can, but it looks like he's just sending the trash units forward. Maybe try to pick off this trap as well as to get some scouting information on Juicy. So, what do we got here? Juicy45 with a group of knights. He's taking out some of sweetcoman's pikes. Juicy needs to come up here and kill these villagers, raid this. So Juicy waiting for the gold to get Hussar to come in. He has all the armor on his cavalry. And Halberdier coming in for sweetcoman. Alright, Juicy, get Hussar. He's got lots of food. There we go. Hussar is coming in. Hussar costs 600 gold. Ooh, this is unfortunate, though, this fight here. There's no reason for Juicy to fight this. Get out of there, Juicy. So we got Arbalister, we got Halberdier in for sweetcoman. Sweetcoman's army composition is looking pretty unbeatable here. Juicy is going to have a hard time dealing with that. Juicy is getting Elite Skirmisher to help take down all these units, really. Skirmishers counter all of this, and that's what he needs. Juicy has built a castle in the upper corner of the map and a couple of stables, so Juicy looking to raid. Spread out and take map control. Has Juicy recovered the relics? Well, they're not there anymore, so I would assume so, but okay, here we go. So here's the monastery, Juicy with 4 relics. Chemistry coming in for Juicy. Chemistry is critical for helping skirmishers kill halberdiers. Halberdiers fully upgraded have 4 pierce armor, and skirmishers with chemistry, where are you? I think they'd get some bonus damage too against halberdiers. Here he is. So 3 plus 2, and as soon as chemistry and bracer come in, it's going to be 3 plus 4. So that's 7 attack, and then they get some bonus damage against halbs as well. So both players are just kind of waiting here. I don't think sweetcoman understands that he's got a pretty big advantage over Juicy right now. But Juicy coming in with Hussar now. Wants to raid sweetcoman. Sweetcoman has walled stuff off, but palisades are not enough to keep hussars out. He needs stone walls. Hey, T-Bomber, welcome. We're casting Juicy45 versus Sweetcoman. Juicy45 is a good friend of mine. You guys all know him. He's a streamer. You should definitely go check out his work. He's on Twitch. Sweetcoman with the Archer micro. I mean, he's going to win this fight, but it's not efficient. I feel like Sweetcoman is just giving Juicy all the time in the world, all the time he needs to just boom his way back into this game. Ethiopian machine gun arbalister, though, taking out this siege. So what's the plan here? You had camels, Sweetcoman. Where are they? Sweetcoman, these camels aren't doing anything back here. You need them over here. Okay, he does have some pointy boys to keep the hussars at bay. Sweetcoman has been at a higher economy, a higher villager count, more economy for longer, so it would stand to reason he would have more stuff than Juicy. But Juicy does control 4 relics. The 5th one is over here. Sweetcoman has not picked it up, and Juicy hasn't picked it up. Although Juicy actually kind of could pick it up. He's got stuff up here. Got camels in. Now, these camels are pretty awful. These ones are missing an armor upgrade, and then the Ethiopians don't get the armor upgrade after that. So Juicy should be able to micro those camels down pretty easily with his cav archers. The problem is these arbalesters are raining damage onto his cav archers, and there's not much he can do about it. He needs paladins. He's got a lot of gold and a lot of food. I think Cavalier would not be that bad for Juicy. I mean, even with their bonus damage, Juicy's Cavalier might still be able to take these camels okay. Juicy selling some stone for some gold. What's the plan? Juicy's got all of this gold and food banked. He's been doing a really good job spending all of his res throughout the game. Maybe he's distracted. Oh, interesting. We got a spicy castle drop here from Juicy. A little bit of revenge for Sweetcoman's sneaky castle drop on Juicy over here earlier. So Juicy's at 65 vills to Sweetcoman's 88. Sweetcoman spots it, and Juicy has to bail. So, this is denied. That hurts. Juicy still has the stone for another castle, though. Juicy taking a fight against these arbalisters here. The cav archers are just not efficient against arbalisters, though, for equal resources. Got Hussar streaming across the map, and it looks like Sweetcoman is in control of this game. Juicy has to relocate. Does Juicy have any more villagers in queue? Doesn't look like it. He sold all of his res for gold. That's how it looks anyway. I'm not sure. Maybe Juicy wants to tank the market for all the resources, or at least food and gold, or food and wood for gold. So Sweetcoman is going to find this castle the hard way. And yeah, Juicy's selling wood for gold for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just wants to stockpile as much gold as possible. But he needs his wood right now. Juicy needs his wood. Tarkin in on these villagers. Well, these villagers are going to take forever to kill the Tarkin. So Juicy will get some free pickoffs that way. Pretty heavy eco KD though. Juicy killing 39 and losing 30. The difference is that Sweetcoman has had more TCs working for longer. Say Juicy is putting up his castle defensively. I think that's much better of a decision. He's only got 7 on food. He's queuing up 2 more trebs. And Juicy reassembling the Hunnic army here. So sweetcoman is going to seal this off now. Not going to let any more let any more of these Tarkans sneak in. Juicy looking for raids. Sweetcoman has walled this off. A lot of people think that walls keep enemies out. Walls don't keep anybody out. You can always get through walls in Age of Empires. It's just walls buy you time, and sometimes that time is enough to actually make something better. We saw in the previous set, Tipe versus Zagaluk. Zagaluk just resigned because Tipe walled and Zagaluk couldn't get in. But Zagaluk could have gotten in. It's just the walls that Tipe built gave him so much time that he was able to counter everything that Zagaluk was doing. So sweetcoman here with the pointy boys taking down the Hussars. No, I don't understand that forward villager at all. It must have been a misclick. How is Juicy still in this? Does anybody know? Juicy has 2/3 the villagers of Sweetcoman approximately, and somehow has managed to keep Sweetcoman on the back foot. It could just be with how open the map is. Juicy is able to raid everywhere, be everywhere. Sweetcoman doesn't have time to march all of his army across. Seems like Sweetcoman is always struggling to be in the right place at the right time. Juicy says, no, I don't want to take this fight. Oh, wait a second, did he change his mind? Juicy, what are you doing? This is a bad fight for you. These are Ethiopian arbalisters on a hill. Maybe he doesn't mind. Yeah, me too. Just going to show that Juicy loves the Huns. Okay, what do we got over here? Juicy building more stables to raid. Juicy really, really needs to get up to 100 pop, though. He needs 100 pop, and he needs 40 farmers, at least. 40 to 60 farmers. And he needs to spam Hussar everywhere. That's what Juicy needs right now, but it's not happening. His army gets cleared up. As Sweetcoman is coming down here. Juicy, send your knight down here and kill all these villagers. Could do it, too. Yep, here he comes. So Juicy, yeah, Juicy knew about it, too. He'd scouted it at one point. He's got 2 knights coming down here to punish Sweetcoman. Juicy has nothing on gold. He does have 4 relics still. So it's like having 4 villagers on gold. And Juicy can continue to make cav archers. But he really needs eco. We've got Hussar, we've got knights raiding. Sweetcoman is going to lose all these villagers. Juicy with 7, now 10 military to Sweetcoman's 87 military. And Sweetcoman is going to push out across the map again. Hopefully for his sake he can bring siege. At lower levels, I don't even want to talk about this like these are low-level players. They're not. But could you imagine like if Sweetcoman had 3 or 4 trebuchets? This would have been over. He could treb this down. He could treb this down. Juicy can't touch this. This army Juicy can't touch. Could you imagine if Sweetcoman had siege attached to this? But he doesn't, so he can't push Juicy. Juicy's got these 2 really strong defensive castles here. So now we got to wait for Sweetcoman to get siege weapons, and it's just going to take forever. It's just giving Juicy the time he needs to boom up and rebuild and mass military. So that's generally a pretty good tell. You know what someone's a really good player when they have a way of getting siege out and knocking down buildings faster and denying their opponent time to rebuild. It's a sign of a good player. And we've all done it. I've been there before myself. I've had a really nice army that couldn't do anything because I didn't have any siege to push with it. Okay, so we got a trebuchet on the field somewhere for Sweetcoman. Here it comes. We've got some camels just kind of waiting. And we have some pointy boys whacking away at Juicy's stables over here. And Juicy is almost caught up to Sweetcoman now in economy, but Sweetcoman with 120 military, are you kidding me? He's got so much military. He's kind of running out of res too. Juicy is at 113 pop to Sweetcoman's 200 pop. Sweetcoman has the queue all filled up. He just needs to use the military that he's got. It's just, yeah, see this? This is all value that's essentially wasted because these units are not defending a siege weapon. Siege weapons are what take down buildings, not units, generally, unless you're Goths. This castle under siege, Juicy trebbing it, just being annoying. He's got skirmishers in on the wood line as well. Going to pick off a villager. These camels are going to respond. These are Ethiopian camels. They suck. But they are enough to take out these skirmishers. But if you had like 30 skirmishers with all the upgrades here, they could totally one-shot these camels. These camels have 1 pierce armor. This town center, Juicy has a mangonel on it. He is pressuring it. It's useless to sweetcoman. And sweetcoman looking around for some villagers on wood. Juicy secured this wood line with a castle, though. So he won't find any damage here. Juicy is out of gold, though. There is a gold here, and Juicy does know about it. He's been taking it before. So maybe Juicy can sneak around and take this gold. But this should be about the Hussar flood at this point. The map is out of gold. Juicy should recognize and say, look, I can't keep making cav archers, and I need my throwaway units to be Hussar. So I'm going to make 50 farms, and I'm going to just flood the map with Hussar that'll be everywhere. If Juicy, and Juicy's kind of had the time to do that too. If Juicy had done that, I think he would have won by now. So, relatively even villager count now. Juicy with a slight advantage, but he's got approximately half the military of sweetcoman. Sweetcoman trying to be everywhere. I think that's why he has so much military, is because he wants to respond to everything Juicy's doing. He's got these idle villagers back here. So he'll have to find some work for them. And we got a big battle. Sweetcoman coming in with the camels. Does sweetcoman have the second armor for the camels yet? No. Ethiopians do access it. These camels are absolutely going to melt to these cav archers and this castle fire. Yeah, so Juicy easily one-shotting these camels with his cav archers. Running away, shooting again. Running away, shooting again. Running away, shooting again. So these camels are dropping like flies. Sweetcoman now still about a 2-to-1 advantage. He does manage to keep this trebuchet alive, and he is finally sieging Juicy's castle. Is Juicy's castle finally going to go down and leave sweetcoman the opportunity to run into Juicy's base? Kill everything, maybe siege this monastery and destroy it and get the relics and deny Juicy the relic income? Juicy's been making out like a bandit with this gold from the relics. So Hussar raids are good, we just don't have enough of them. Juicy's at 55 villagers to sweetcoman's 50 villagers. In terms of Eco KD, Juicy has killed 116 villagers, you guys, and lost 50 of his own. So maybe Juicy's just looking at this like, look, I've killed so many villagers, there's no way I need that many of my own. Juicy needs to refresh his lumber camp over here. But I honestly don't know who's going to win this game, you guys. I mean, Juicy playing as the Huns is quite terrifying. I thought sweetcoman had it, but Juicy making a comeback here. Of course, this monastery going down is going to be pretty bad for him. And this army is pretty unstoppable. So this army here might be the end of Juicy. He snipes that trebuchet and is able to keep this monastery up. Nice work from Juicy. Sweetcoman is going to withdraw now. He has no siege. And he's going to have to wait for this trebuchet to roll forward. Is Juicy over here taking gold? No, not yet. He's got Hussars massacring skirmishers. He's got a Tarkin coming out. Sweetcoman has destroyed Juicy's siege workshop over here. It's now working on the stables. So Juicy's answer to the camels has basically been cav archers. Because camels have low pierce armor. So cavalry archers are very good at killing them. Alright, let's take a look at Juicy's monastery. Sweetcoman's still sieging it. Juicy wants to take out this trebuchet. It looks like he dived it with a bunch of units earlier. These cav archers are finally going down, though. And I think this is the end of Juicy's gold income, and he's going to be out of this game pretty soon, I think. This army rushes forward from sweetcoman. Oh no, sweetcoman has stopped attacking the monastery with the trebuchet. Instead, deciding to go after this castle. I think that is a mistake. So sweetcoman with 84 military to Juicy's 23. And regardless of that mistake, I do think Juicy's going to call it soon. He has 49 villagers to sweetcoman's 71. And with that, Juicy calls the GG. Yeah, what a great game. I think both players had an opportunity to win this. Juicy had more than enough time to boom up to 130 vills, 50 to 60 of which were on farms, and then flood the map with hussars. But I think he figured, I've killed 116 units, or I've killed more villagers than Tech Chariot makes in most of his games. I should be fine. And sweetcoman getting a victory over Juicy45, despite being about 100 to 150 elo behind the guy. So GG. I'm going to try to remember to use the scoreboard this time. If I forget, you guys just let me know. Remind me. It did, JC. The idle time at the beginning really hurt Juicy. Had that idle time not been there, there's a very good chance that Juicy could have closed the game out in Feudal Age. But I don't want to say it snowballed from there, because Juicy did have a chance to make a comeback. But it definitely hurt him. It removed one of Juicy's possible win conditions. Agreed. And he even had the res to click to Feudal too. He just forgot to click Feudal. So Juicy45 losing a game to sweetcoman. Sweetcoman taking a game off of Juicy45. So with that, let's move into the next game of the set. It is Blarney, and I am excited to see what these players do. So in the purple, down here in the lower left, we have sweetcoman. And in the upper right, in the blue, we have Juicy45. Juicy45 putting down the houses. He knows. Says these throwing axemen are going to destroy these pavilions eventually. So both players know that they have to build houses. Looks like the cows have 220 food on them, which is above average, and the boars have 435. So the boars have more food on them than a rhino. So there's actually a lot of food under these town centers this time. Juicy says good luck, have fun, because he's a fantastic person. Oh yeah, T-Bomber. That is only tied into my AOE2.net history. It has no way of detecting what games I'm spectating, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the civs here. We've got Mayans for sweetcoman, and we've got Juicy45 as the Bohemians. Well, I understand the Bohemians. Bohemians are still pretty broken civ. Are the elos about the same for these players? No. Sweetcoman was down here at 1284 calculated tournament, and Juicy was at 1366 calculated tournament. So we've got about 100 elo difference between these two when the elos were calculated. Got a lumber camp coming up for sweetcoman. So Mayans makes sense because resources last longer. Other than that, I don't really know that they have many advantages on this map. There are a lot of towers, and so I think, well, Mayan archers probably aren't going to be very good against towers. But I do understand the Mayan pick from the sense that resources will last longer, and these gold piles are small, these stone piles are small. So maybe sweetcoman is looking at it like, well, if my resources last longer, then I won't have to refresh my town centers and lumber camps and expand my eco as much. The unbuildable terrain is oriented this way. It's not behind them, so it'll be harder for the players to wall off like this, but the players could still wall directly back, I guess, if they wanted to. There are wolves out here, though, and there are forage bushes representing the poison garden around Blarney Castle today. So, Bohemians have fantastic monks, they've got fantastic gunpowder, they've got the wagons. We don't know what Juicy45 is going to do. That's what I kind of like about Bohemians, is they're utterly unpredictable. Juicy45 has built a house out here, so it looks like he's already started like expanding his walls. And sweetcoman here is Not taking any chances, I guess, building another secondary layer of wall. This is Juicy's home map, after all, so chances are quite good that Juicy will have a plan on it. So 2 seconds of idle time for sweetcoman, 3 seconds of idle time for Juicy45, so both players doing a good job keeping their town center working this time. So what do you do against Bohemians if you're Mayans? Well, we saw Bohemians versus Mayans in the All-Star Pro Show match. Backed versus ACCM, but it was on Terra, which is kind of a different animal than Blarney. Terra, of course, has the tax. It's got the relics. It's got the stone in the middle. So sweetcoman could go mass eagles to deal with wagons, but if he does that, Juicy45 can make hand cannons. So I feel like Juicy45 just has way better options than sweetcoman. Sweetcoman has better economy, although even that may not necessarily be true. The Bohemians getting the mining upgrades for free, their markets and blacksmiths costing less wood. So, moral of the story is, sweetcoman is at a civ disadvantage, and I don't know how he's going to deal with it. But maybe sweetcoman can just pump out archers, make nothing but archers, have archers everywhere, and just completely flood Juicy45 with archers. The map is semi-closed, so cavalry mounted units may not be quite as effective. I don't think Juicy was going to go cavalry. Bohemians are not known for their cavalry. But who knows? Juicy is capable of many things. sweetcoman says, such a nice map. Yes, says Juicy, the middle makes no sense. Well, it's kind of like Hideout. Hey, it makes perfect sense. It's Blarney Castle. This is the castle. Somebody needs to explain to Juicy that this map was inspired by Blarney Castle, and so, therefore, we put a castle in the middle of the map. So where is Juicy going now? He's got a mill out here. He's milled some deer, and it looks like he's going to go on to berries, too. He has the wood for another... Okay, yep. Here we go. So he's building a mill out here on the berries. So Juicy getting loom now, going... I don't think he's going to be able to afford to go up on 24 pop, though. He only has 250 food. Now, these villagers have yet to drop off food. They do have quite a bit in store, but it's still not going to be enough. Oh, wait a second. Juicy had Feudal HQ'd behind it. Alright, fine. So Juicy going up at 24 pop, sweetcoman going up at 25. About 15 seconds of idle time on average for both players. But Juicy reflecting that the middle makes no sense. But maybe if you went archers, you could kill these throwing axemen. And then maybe you could bust your way through these fortified gates. And then have a really, really nasty hill to siege your opponent from. But it does require some investment to get through these axemen. And it will take time. And you don't know if your opponent's doing that. T-Bomber says, if Mayans can get to Siege Ram and El Dorado Eagles, they have a chance. I agree. But that's going to be pretty far away. Juicy can make wagons well before then. Juicy coming over here onto this gold. Now, there isn't much gold here. There is 400 gold between these two tiles. And there are 700 gold on each of these stone tiles. So there's a lot of stone inside the base, not very much gold. So sweetcoman coming out here to mill these deer. He's going to have to be careful. However, these wolves are kind of funky. I don't know if we've seen the wolves behave on this map. They don't chase you like normal wolves do. Okay, Juicy45 advancing to the feudal age and sweetcoman right behind him. So the times are about the same. The idle time was about the same. Did somebody lose a scout? I don't think so. Alright, maybe not. So what's the plan here? Juicy throwing down... Come on, Juicy. Where's your market blacksmith? He's almost got the res to click up here. He's building another house. Okay, we've got a range, and tell me there's a blacksmith coming up. Nope, 2 ranges. So these guys, kind of a missed opportunity here. Although sweetcoman is not anywhere near clicking up. So sweetcoman, I think, is just going to go archers. Sweetcoman have Castle HQ'd up behind this? No, he does not. He only has 7 on food. So Juicy needs to get his buildings up ASAP. Alright, here's a market from Juicy. Just needed a blacksmith now. Where's your blacksmith, Juicy? Doesn't have one. But blacksmiths only cost something like, what, 75 wood or something like that for Bohemians? It's insane. So maybe Juicy... Well, the map is kind of different. It's kind of odd. Maybe Juicy's still working on his FC for this map. Practicing it out. But he has the resources to click up, but he's not going up yet. Kind of a missed opportunity here. sweetcoman getting a blacksmith up for himself. We've got somebody fighting a wolf somewhere. There it is. Wolf went down. Alright, build a blacksmith, Juicy. Build it somewhere. There it is. Okay. So Juicy's going to build that blacksmith. He has been keeping his town center working for the most part. Wheelbarrow is coming in. And then Castle Age will be right behind it. So a slow castle from Juicy. But with slow castle comes more resources. So a little bit of a fight here. Eagles are not as strong as scouts in Feudal Age, but this eagle had some archers helping him. Must have been weak, having taken damage from the tower. But Juicy has towers up already. Juicy building an archery range of his own, so maybe chemistry crossbows from Juicy, I'm not sure. He is going heavily onto gold, and he is building a tower of his own. I don't know that that tower goes up, though. sweetcoman has 2 archers in the vicinity. Juicy just building a little bit of quick wall here to keep these archers out, to give himself some time to build the tower. So Juicy is on his way to the Castle Age, and we will see what Juicy has got planned here. Scout finally going down. sweetcoman has archers out, but where are the rest of the archers? He's got 10 archers somewhere, 1 in queue. Got 2 back here. Okay, they're all waiting here. I don't know what they're waiting for, but they're waiting for something. He is going on to gold now. He has 11 military to Juicy's 1, so he could really be punishing Juicy. Juicy's built towers, but the base of this tower could be camped by archers, and then this gold denied. Hand cannons for Juicy? I don't know. Juicy has no wood. He's got 8 on wood somewhere. I'd like to see... Okay, so mining camp from Juicy. Juicy will obviously have to build a university if he wants to go hand cannons or chemistry crossbows in Feudal Age. But considering that Juicy has gotten fletching, I think it's going to be chemistry crossbows. Which crossbows with chemistry, and he's getting crossbow now, could be quite powerful. A lot of people underestimate the value of that +1 attack that chemistry gives. Alright, so Juicy should be putting down a university any minute now. I believe they're cheaper for Bohemians, so I actually think Juicy could afford it. Even though he doesn't have 200 wood. But Juicy probably instead making crossbows. Yeah. So Juicy's made crossbows, he's cleaned that up. And what's the plan here from Juicy? Okay, Bodkin coming in, that's important. sweetcoman is on his way to the Castle Age. Mayan archers are cheaper, so sweetcoman can outmass Juicy, but Juicy can get chemistry. Hey, Caesar, hello and welcome. We are on game 2 here of the set between sweetcoman and Juicy. This is King of Ireland Silver, round 2. We are on Blarney here, and we've got Juicy45 versus sweetcoman. So Juicy45 pushing out across the map, looking for some damage. Juicy looks all in with 2 on food. That's true. It's quite the investment from Juicy. However, he is keeping his town center working. So maybe Juicy is buying food as he needs it. But where is Juicy's university? I don't see a university for Juicy. Maybe he forgot it. I'm not sure. Juicy's gonna go in. that was a mistake. Didn't really get any damage in over there. There is another tower here. So sweetcoman building a town center on this stone out here. Upgrading his own crossbows. And Juicy now with idle time. No villagers in queue for Juicy. Juicy, however, has a lot on stone. This is telling me, and he's building a castle now. So Juicy looking to fortify this area of the map. Caesar says, been trying to learn jazz standards on 3 different instruments just for something to do. Kind of fun. Jazz. I don't know anything about that. So both players have gone crossbows. The fate of this game will be decided by who does it better. He's selling wood for gold. And then queuing up more crossbows. Juicy has nothing on gold. He is now building a town center on this gold. Okay. So he's got a castle, a town center. You know, if Juicy, as long as Juicy has this castle, I'd like to see a couple wagons to help support his crossbowmen. Wouldn't that be nice, you guys? Like his crossbowmen, they hide behind a wagon and shoot at the Mayan crossbowmen and then prevail. So sweetcoman is on 3 town centers, and Juicy is on 2. So we got villagers in queue from Juicy. He's keeping his town centers working. Both players with 37 villagers. With all the towers on the map, I'm surprised both players open with archers. I agree. I don't get the archers. Unless you were going to push through the center and kill all these throwing axemen, and then have like a siege workshop and a bunch of archers up here, that could be pretty obnoxious. Talk about trade demand tactics. What? So Juicy getting another castle up on the other side to secure this side of his base. So I wonder if these players are just going to boom. Juicy is milling these berries now. sweetcoman is taking a villager lead over Juicy. It's 3 town centers to 2. Okay, Juicy coming out on the deer here. Alright, deciding to mill it. After fighting off this wolf. So sweetcoman wants to wall this. You of course can't wall this. Juicy can walk around the shallows here. But he can at least give himself some more time to detect Juicy's approach. He might be able to build a dock on either side actually and restrict access. I don't know, John CZ3. I was talking about Hussite wagons. So, pretty aggressive castle now. Not pretty aggressive, but more aggressive castle from Juicy. Looking to secure this side of the map here. And I think it's basically going to be booming. Booming and taking map control because these archers are not very effective against the towers. Both players opened archers, and archers are not good against towers. So, naturally, it's a little bit stalematey. sweetcoman is at 3 town centers. Juicy is on 2. We do have an attack from sweetcoman on Juicy, though, here. Looks like he's looking to get in. Juicy's got his archers ready, though. sweetcoman will have a hill advantage, but Juicy will have a town center advantage. Garrisons his town center and takes some shots. These archers are being fired upon by the watchtower. sweetcoman microing this quite nicely. But overall, he's still outnumbered, and he has to withdraw. So, same deal. One player comes in, tries to get some damage, can't really do it because there's too much ranged attack available. Maybe they were both preparing to defend a castle drop. You know, that's a good point, T-Bomber. That's quite possible. They were thinking, there's a lot of stone on this map. I bet I'm going to get castle drops. So they made archers. But it just seems like the timing for these archers was not fast enough to defend a castle drop. Maybe it was. I'd like to see players collect relics. Juicy has finally built a university. Has Juicy gotten chemistry, though? Let's find Juicy's archers and select them. No. No chemistry for Juicy yet. But we do see some of these Hussite wagons coming out. Juicy's going to drop a tower. Interesting. On sweetcoman. Unfortunately, towers aren't really useful anymore. But could kind of deny this woodline and keep sweetcoman from coming back here. But if Juicy can push in this way, that could be really helpful for him. Juicy with 57 villagers to sweetcoman's 65. Sweetcoman building a defensive castle in this location. I don't think Juicy has spotted it. But these archers have taken... Yeah, they've taken the palisades down. But they can't really move in. There's a town center here. And there are other walls blocking their path. So it is a little stalemated. Juicy finally adding a siege workshop, which I like. And getting chemistry now. So he does get a villager pick off. So villager count is quite close, but sweetcoman has about twice the military. These Mayans are massing cheaper archers. Okay, chemistry is in for these crossbows. We can see it now. Their arrows are flaming, and they have 5+3 attack, and only 7 range. So mangonel finally out, and this mangonel will allow Juicy to pressure this town center. So what's sweetcoman doing? Alright, so sweetcoman has decided to wall back this way since he can't wall across the shallows. He needs to finish, though. He's got a little bit left. He's going to take this gold instead. Juicy is on his way to the Imperial Age. So Juicy knows the castle's there. It's attacking his siege workshop. And what better way to get rid of a castle than with trebuchets? Now he needs to be careful, though, because sweetcoman does have a sizable military. And could clean up his own military if he's not careful. He does have a mangonel handy, though. Is he making another? Yes, he is. Let's hope that mangonel doesn't suicide run this castle as soon as it's created. I'm rooting for Juicy. I want Juicy to win this one so we can see a game 3. So sweetcoman electing to go around, maybe going out for a raid of his own. This area is also unbuildable. Castle's going to see it. Open fire on these archers and at least whittle them down. I think Juicy sees that coming, and that's why he's building this town center here. Yeah, he's sending all the ladies. Holy shit! Yeah, there's. Okay, no, there are two men in that group, but what's the probability of that? I guess he sent all the men to jack lumber and all the women to harvest berries. Is Juicy role playing his economy? Okay, here's a dead villager. But Juicy has enough castles to keep his economy defended. He has taken down this town center, and he has gotten 19 eco kills with that. So well played to Juicy with that regard. Juicy, he needs to sell a little bit of food, and he needs to queue up a trebuchet immediately. And that Trev needs to roll forward and take down this castle. If you're Juicy, you don't know how much longer you're going to have this technology advantage over your opponent. So, having said that, sweetcoman is being a pest here. He's killed some villagers himself, idling these town centers. Juicy's got to come forward with this Hussite wagon. Hussite wagons have insane amounts of pierce armor. You can stand here and fight these archers all day. So sweetcoman is on his way to Imp now. Putting up another castle to defend his town. In terms of villager count, sweetcoman is ahead of Juicy because sweetcoman has been booming on more town centers than Juicy. Well, until now, when Juicy just destroyed one. And Juicy also added another town center here. So Juicy going the route of cannons instead. So no trebuchet. I disagree with that. I think it's fine to make trebuchets as Bohemians. I know they get cannons. I know their cannons are good. But trebuchet just gives them a little bit more protection, right? It's just got a little bit more space from this castle. Plumed archers are going down to mangonel fire and Hussite wagon cannonballs. Okay, so the army that was here has moved. What's left of it is now fleeing in this direction. Juicy is trying to build another town center to take wood. Juicy has 54 villagers. About a third of them are idle in this town center. This castle is getting hit by cannonballs. So there's a timer here. Sweetcoman is going to hit Imp, and he's going to need a little bit of time to upgrade his army. And assuming that he can do that... Oh! Look at all these barracks coming down from Sweetcoman. Sweetcoman getting iron casting, and is that El Dorado right there? It is El Dorado. Oh my goodness. How did I miss this? Pleb Caster. So Sweetcoman is tech switching into Eagles. He is done going archers. I don't know if he has the eco to go Eagles. I mean, I guess you don't need much eco to go Eagles. But he has a lot on gold. And he is now getting Eagle Warrior and the Scale Mail armor upgrade. So he is committing pretty hard. I mean, El Dorado is an expensive technology. And he's got 9 Eagles in queue. So Eagles will absolutely clean Juicy's... Alright, Juicy fighting off this wolf. It will absolutely clean Juicy's military. He still hasn't finished this wall here. I guess he figures if Juicy wants to get in, he's going to walk all the way around, possibly. And he'll see it. Or maybe he just forgot about it. Who knows? Repairing this castle to keep it alive. But out of stone, so he cannot continue to repair the castle. The Eagles have a rally point back here. He needs Elite Eagle Warrior, and he's getting it now. So Eagles will fall to hand cannons. They're very good against crossbows. And Juicy maybe sensing that the Mayans are going to go Eagles. I don't know if Juicy has seen any Eagles. But he just got the Man-at-Arms upgrade. So why would he do that if he weren't going to be fighting Eagles? I don't understand that Man-at-Arms upgrade. I think hand cannons will do fine against Eagles. But these are Elite Eagle Warriors with 100 HP. So they're just going to clean these archers. And Juicy's in trouble. Longsword's been coming in for Juicy. He does have a lot of castles up defending his economy. These Eagles spell trouble for Juicy. If these Eagles can get in and massacre Juicy's eco, he's not going to be able to afford long swordsmen. He'll have the tech, but he won't have the income to produce the units he needs to deal with these Eagles. So meanwhile, Juicy pressuring over here. He has not moved in yet. But Eagles will do very well against Hussite wagons. Two-handed swordsmen against Elite Eagles. Again, the swordsman line get a lot of bonus damage against Eagles. They're quite cost-effective. But the problem is that Juicy is not going to have the economy to make enough two-handed swordsmen to deal with this massive Eagles. I mean, this is 48 Elite Eagle Warriors. Mayan Elite Eagle Warriors with 100 health. The only upgrade that they're missing after this comes in is the final armor and the final attack. So he's just getting those upgrades now. Juicy is in trouble. He knows it because he's getting two-handed swordsman. Juicy has 12 on stone somewhere. He is getting horse collar now, so Juicy is thinking about adding more farms to sustain two-handed swordsman production. He has 3 two-handed swordsmen out, and he has 8 in queue. So Juicy wants to mass two-handed swordsmen, but there are too many eagles here. Juicy needs to increase his production dramatically. Okay, here come the eagles. What about scorpions? Viable. Viable if you have a critical mass of scorpions. Juicy now getting the armor for two-handed swordsmen. There are not enough of them here, though. Not a chance. Okay, so castle fire on these eagles. The only thing that Juicy has going for him is he's got a lot of castles. It could take sweetcoman time. But if sweetcoman is smart, he'll just run. He'll just avoid the castles. He'll go and he'll snipe town centers, and then he'll massacre villagers. Juicy's redeploying back here, following the eagles to kill them with two-handed swordsmen. And sweetcoman is missing the final armor, so that will help Juicy out. But Juicy is also missing some armors for his two-handed swordsman. Yeah, Juicy only has the first armor as well. This fight's going to go well for him. This one did not. sweetcoman deciding not to fight that. Juicy putting up another castle. So Juicy needs to build some stone walls here, prevent these eagles from slipping in this way and massacring his gold villagers. He's got his two-handed swordsman in hot pursuit. Final armor is coming in for sweetcoman. Sweetcoman needs to pick a fight, and he needs to pick it really soon. Otherwise, he's going to give Juicy the time to get back in the game. So Juicy at 58 villagers, sweetcoman at 78, Juicy at 56 villagers and sweetcoman at 78 villagers. But sweetcoman has 110 military somewhere. He's got eagles on this side. He's got eagles over here. So it's looking pretty ugly. As he's expanding his villager count, so it's not looking so great for Juicy. Juicy here with a two-handed swordsman raid on sweetcoman, but this cannon is going to go down really quickly to the eagles, and with that, Juicy calls the GG. Just could not stop this eagle mass. The eagle was just not good enough. So I think Juicy kind of struggled from not... I mean, Juicy had a lot of bonus food on his cows and on his boars. Juicy really struggled from not clicking up to Castle Age on time. He kept his town center working, but he could have been, if he had put just a couple more on wood and had the wood to build that blacksmith, he could have been Castle Age so much faster than his opponent, and he could have done a lot with that. He didn't get crossbow very quickly, so his crossbows didn't really have much advantage over the Mayan crossbows. So I think Juicy had an interesting idea with the chemistry crossbows in Castle Age. But that tech switch for sweetcoman into eagles was fantastic for him. Juicy's best chance would have been hand cannons, actually, not two-handed swordsman. He was already into chemistry and all of that. But he had to spend so many reds and take so much time getting the hand cannon. If Juicy had gone hand cannons and bombard cannons and continued to push sweetcoman, he would have forced sweetcoman to take bad fights. Bad fights without massing up these eagles. Because remember, Juicy had access to hand cannons immediately after he hit him. Juicy's in the chat here. Sorry, Juicy. I'm just giving my critical analysis here. We're sorry to see you go. It was a pleasure, though, watching you in battle against sweetcoman. Juicy says, yeah, man, my castle time was terrible here. Yeah, I think with a little bit more practice and a little bit more polish, a good idea. Just sweetcoman beat you on the execution on this one, I think. Game 1 came down to being me, being me and going CA. Juicy always loves to go CA. Yeah, we were talking about, you know, Juicy had a pretty commanding lead for parts of that game. If he had gone Paladin and Skirmisher, he would have had a much better chance. sweetcoman, he did. This is quite an upset. sweetcoman prevailing over Juicy45 2-0. But they were good matches, for sure. I'm really grateful that both of these players signed up for the King of Ireland tournament. So we're looking forward to seeing Juicy45 in the quarterfinals. He will be up against Plush Werewolf, very own clan member, so it'll be pretty exciting. Game 1, I have no clue how he had such a big army. Yeah, he did have a pretty big army. He had a pretty good boom, too. He was on more town centers than you for a lot of time, so we had a lot of res. But definitely a fun set. Very grateful to both of these players for signing up. Juicy45 says, I thought I had killed Ezekiel so much and then 100+ army in my... I know, we were talking about that. We were like, Juicy's probably looking at this like, do I really need to boom up to 130 villagers and have 60 on farms and spam Hussar? I've killed over 100 villagers. And we saw that reflected in the Capture Age KD. I think it was like 100... By the time the game ended, Juicy45 had killed like 118 of sweetcoman's villagers. Think about that. That is more villagers than Tech Chariot builds in most of his games. Juicy killed that many. John CZ3 says, makes me wish I could play as well as these folks. Well, you can. You absolutely can. T-Bomber says, mines do well against Bohemians from what I've seen. I say it depends. He did. There's no shame in losing to a worthy opponent. sweetcoman clearly did the prep for the maps. Had a good idea of what he wanted to do and why, and was able to overcome that elo gap. So we're proud of him. So with that, we're going to end the stream here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We got 2 sets in today, 2 really great sets. So the first we cast from Silver. We did Tipe versus Zagaluk. And the second we did sweetcoman versus Juicy. Yeah, Juicy's headed out. We're about to end the stream here. John CZ3 says, so T-Bomber, next time we go up against OP Bohemians, one of us goes Mines. But JC, I maintain that you can play like this. If you put your mind to it, you view these recordings, you see the decisions that people make and why, and work on your macro, work on keeping all your buildings and stuff working, and you too can play like this. But a lot of us have been practicing this for years. Years. Literally years. So the fact that you're at where you're at with so little experience is a testament to you. It makes you look good, in my opinion. Now, having said that, there are some people I know of who have played like similar games, who played Age of Empires, and now they're like way better than all of us, because they have a lot of experience in micro and such. But anyway, we're going to end it here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is a fantastic set. Really grateful to both these players for playing. And we look forward to seeing what sweetcoman comes up with against Plush Werewolf.